Hello everybody, I'm Ivan Watson. I'm a senior international correspondent for CNN, and I'm coming to you live on Facebook from the Quezon City Jail in the Philippines capital, Manila. So these are some of the guards at the jail, and we're going to spin around in a sec to give you a view of probably one of the most overcrowded jails in this entire country. This is a view right now of the main courtyard of the jail. It started to rain here, and we're giving you a bit of a view of this very, very crowded place where the authorities have allowed us to visit to get a sense of the conditions here. Now, let me spell it out for you as we walk into the jail. This was built, according to Philippine standards, for about 800 people. According to United Nations standards, it should hold 200 people. Well, guess how many inmates are here right now? More than 4,000. More than 4,000 people living cheek to jowl on top of each other in this incredibly crowded jail. So we're going to take you through the jail, again, to give you a sense of what conditions are like here. Follow me. Hello. Taking a shower. It's raining right now, so we're out in the open. This is how people sleep here. This is how people sleep here, and of course, it's only 7:30 p.m. local time, so the vast majority of the detainees have not gone to bed yet. You can see a kitchen there where people are, and some pretty surprisingly cheerful faces. We're really impressive, kind of how cheerful people and friendly they are given the conditions they're living in. Now, the vast majority of these people have been detained, 60% of them on drug-related charges, and many of them are waiting years for trial. This is the chapel. It has a capacity of 40. Of course, the Philippines is a majority Christian country with a Catholic Church very important in this country. So we've been seeing various shifts of prayers and masses here throughout the day. Capacity of 40 in the chapel there. Let's kind of keep walking through. Now, part of why we're reporting on this is the new president of the Philippines campaigned and was elected last May on a promise to bring law and order to the country. So in the last month and a half since the new president took office and launched a war on drugs, hundreds of additional detainees have come into this place. So it's quite literally bursting at the seams. Hi guys, how are you? You okay? How's it going? How are you? I want to introduce you to somebody I met earlier in the day. This is Ati the cat. Ati the prison cat. Hi. Ati the prison cat. Law and order question in the Philippines right now. The law and order question has to do with a war on drugs that the new president, Rodrigo Duterte, launched when he took office on July 1st. And the statistics are staggering. The police have carried out thousands of raids in the last 7 weeks. They've arrested more than 9,000 suspects, and it's been very, very bloody and very deadly. More than 650 people killed by police in 7 weeks. And in all of those cases, the police say that they fired in self-defense or when the suspects were resisting arrest. And the President Duterte has repeatedly instructed his police to shoot and shoot to kill if they see any resistance. So in other jails that we've visited here in the Philippines over the last week, and in a rehab center for addicts, which was also full beyond capacity, Some of the inmates told us, and some of the patients, that they feel safer in a rehab center right now, safer in jail than they would out on the streets where the bodies are piling up since the new president launched his war on drugs. Can we go in this direction? We're going to head in this direction to give you a sense. There's also been a spike in killings that have been unexplained. More than 800 killings in these 7 weeks, some of them vigilante killings, where the vigilantes will leave a cardboard sign saying drug pusher next to the body of the victim. And there's a Senate inquiry being launched next week into this just enormous amount of killing that's taken place in 7 weeks. Can we move in further? We've got a chess game underway here. There, we visited this cell earlier today. You can see there's barely even room to walk through. Scott's going to go ahead. Hi, everybody. Hello. Okay, we've got prayers in there. So we're going to respect, there are a couple of Muslim detainees that are praying in that room. But yeah, I mean, you can't move without kind of bumping into somebody, against somebody. And as one of the wardens, as one of the guards explained to me, this is against human rights, but the guards can't do anything about it. There's a new prison proposed for 2019 that would house more people, but look at what we're dealing with right now. Scott, you can pan around here. Hello. Do you sleep up here? This is your bed. Yeah? This is your bed. How long have you been here?
5 years.
5 years. 5 years. Have you been to trial yet? Have you been to court?
Not yet to finish.
You haven't been to court yet? Yeah, you have been to trial. Not yet. No conviction. Not yet. All right. That man says he's been here 5 years and he hasn't had a trial. So we're under a cover right now. It is sweltering hot. I don't know if you can see. You know, I'm soaked. Who's winning?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet.
Are you the chess master?
No, just playing.
Just playing. All right.
Time pass.
Now, we're in the Philippines. We have a question from one of the viewers. Is it hot here? Again, I am soaked with sweat right now. If you could see Scott, who's holding the phone right now, he's sweated through his shirt several times today. He's given us a view. And it's raining, which is actually cooling things off. This man, take a look, is using the water to shower.
Yes.
It's a good shower?
Wait, sorry, my friend.
Let's take a look at how... I think I found another jail cat. Hello. We've got another jail cat here. What's for dinner tonight? What's for dinner tonight? Rice and lentils, yeah? Rice and lentils. Yeah. Okay, that's dinner for these detainees here. Hi guys. Hello. Yeah, how long have you been here?
From 3 months.
3 months. Why were you arrested?
My arresting in Cubao.
Cubao. For what?
From
Ak?
child abuse.
Drug abuse. Shabu?
No.
No.
Act of business.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey there. Okay, and the vast majority of the detainees have not gone to bed yet. The number one drug in the country that is being used, the illegal drug, why don't we keep coming this way? Number one illegal drug is methamphetamines, which is called shabu here. And that is the skirt to the chest, typical for a detention center. This is the second jail I've been to. It's the second jail I've been to. We were in Tanawan City, which is about an hour or two drive outside of Manila. And there, it was a much smaller prison for about 180 people, and it was far beyond capacity with more than 300 detainees. The mayor of the city, stunned that a brand new jail was already overcrowded at that stage, and saying that he would have to probably build another jail as the war on drugs continues in his city. I then also asked, hey, has there been any guidelines, instructions to city mayors to explain how to carry out the war on drugs? He said no, there have been no written directives from the presidency. He described the 7-week effort to stamp out drugs as quite ad hoc, as he put it. There's no textbook, he said. We're going to try to move on and move downstairs into the courtyard. A big part of the area where people could be gathered to ease some of the pressure on people is this courtyard, this basketball court, but of course it's pouring rain right now. A lot of commenters, a lot of the audience are saying people seem so positive. All I can say, and I'm not an expert on the Philippines by any stretch of the word, is that it says something about Philippine society. People are very jovial and hospitable and like to try to live life well, even in just absolutely appalling conditions like this. Even people stuck in limbo for years. And we've talked to people here stuck 9 years awaiting trial. And that gets to some of the points of the questions of law and order and corruption in this country. Part of the appeal of President Duterte when he ran for office was, he has nicknames like the Punisher or Duterte Harry from the Clint Eastwood movies, Dirty Harry. Can we come through here? Does this go downstairs, guys? No, down here, sorry. We're going to slip through here. So he campaigned on a law and order promise. There we go. And many people complain that the justice system just doesn't work in this country, that the corruption is rampant, and that has contributed to infrastructure that just isn't good enough for many Filipinos, and probably and explains this terribly, insanely overcrowded situation here in this jail and why people are waiting so long for trial. Okay, I just got rained on pretty hard. We have some men here that are praying. We're not going to bother them now, and we're going to move through in this direction. Hi guys. Is this where Sputnik is? Sputnik is one of the gangs that we're told operates in the jail, and this area is where the Sputnik gang, this area I guess, has some territory. Actually, let's take a look. That's the Sputnik sign of one of these gangs. Hello. Hello. Is this Sputnik?
Yes.
Yes.
Right up here, yeah?
Yes.
Can we look?
Yes.
Can we show?
Yes.
Is the signal holding up? Okay, well, we can just take a quick look. The temperature just went up like 15 degrees just stepping into here. Hey guys. Hi. And you got more people up here. Hello. You guys are Sputnik? So, another question. Is this overcrowding all because of Duterte? No, this prison had more than 3,500 inmates when he assumed office. But in the month and a half since he assumed office, it has swelled by another 600 detainees to probably the highest numbers that this jail has seen in quite some time. How's our signal holding up? Is it okay? Okay. Thank you, everybody. Hi. How are you? So again, it's
the leader of this section.
sure. Hi. It's like a sauna in there, a very cheerful and very crowded sauna. We're going to spin around up here and maybe see if there have been any other questions from the... go ahead. Somebody asked a question. Could the United Nations step in? That's a very good question, because President Duterte took aim at the United Nations in a speech on Wednesday to police, because there was criticism from human rights rapporteurs in the UN about the sudden surge in police killings, and he denounced the UN and basically accused the UN of not doing anything in the Middle East, and told police to ignore the United Nations and effectively to ignore international law when it comes to the police killings. Hi guys. How are you? This is also Sputnik. Hello. How are you? Are you the captain? No? Okay. Take a look over here. 1882 for the detainees in here. And it's important to note, a lot of the people living in here for years have not been convicted in any court of law for any crime that they were initially detained on. They're waiting in limbo for years in many cases for their time in court. And just a reboot here, we're in a prison, in a jail rather, built to house, according to Philippine standards, 800 people. How many people in here right now? More than 4,000 detainees living in this very, very crowded place. A question, how does the public in the Philippines feel about these conditions? That I can't really ask. I can ask these people throughout the day that we've talked to, and some of them say, where's the justice? On the other hand, there are a great deal of many supporters for the crackdown on the drug war in this country. The president enjoys, according to a poll in July, 90% approval ratings. So he, for the moment, appears to be answering a hunger in Philippine society for law and order. That is something that he promised, and he has vowed repeatedly to clean up drugs off the streets and clean up corrupt officials from within different ranks of the government and the state bureaucracy. Somebody else asked, how do they keep order? Now this is going to blow viewers away. More than 4,000 people in this incredibly crowded jail. And can you guess how many guards there are from the jail service at any given time? Guards like this man right here. There are only 20 guards on duty at any given time inside the jail and outside at the main gate. So how do they maintain order here? As it was explained to me, there are captains and vice captains in different cells, and very much whatever order there is here relies on a kind of system, an unwritten system of agreement between the wardens and the leaders of the different cell blocks here. That's the only way this could work. And as you notice here, this guard isn't even wearing or carrying any weapons. No weapons at all in this detention center. This guard as well, you don't have any weapons, do you? So how do you keep law and order here? How do you keep calm when there are so many prisoners?
We have to talk to them diplomatically. We have to pacify them in a good way.
Thank you, Mr. Antiola. So he says we have to talk to the prisoners diplomatically to pacify, to keep the peace here. Another note here, there are illnesses here. There is a tuberculosis ward where there are more than 70 patients diagnosed with tuberculosis on the second floor who are in isolation, because that is a disease that spreads in extremely constricted conditions like the ones here. And in the other jail that we visited in Tanawan City, there too was a tuberculosis ward in that jail. That was a co-ed jail. There was a cell block for women as well as more cell blocks for men. And the women we talked to there had been there for 1, 2, and 3 years. Wow, we're in a recreation room. Hi. This has a pool table and a television over there, and somebody sleeping under the pool table. This place has been identified as the Quezon City Jail, right? Quezon City? That's you guys? Okay, you're a group, yeah? Okay. So the Quezon City Jail, if the bandwidth holds up, their symbol seems to be Bugs Bunny over there. He seems to be the mascot of the Quezon City Jail. As far as food that people get here, we've seen a lot of rice, we've seen some fish. This is another question from a listener. We've seen some fish as well, and that's kind of staple food here in the Philippines. Another question, are there any women housed in this jail? No. This is a male-only jail. Ages of detainees range from 18 all the way up to 82, though women are allowed in here during visiting hours and allowed to move quite freely around the jail. So, as somebody told me here, believe it or not, in these incredibly crowded and cramped conditions, there are apparently conjugal visits. There's the jail is its own society. Hello, everybody. How are you? This is also a Quezon City Jail, part of the jail. You guys are Quezon City? Yeah. Good evening. How are you? Everything good? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
How many people sleep in here? How many people sleep in here? 234? No, in this room. In this block, 234 people? Okay. Hello, everybody. How long have you been here?
Just a couple of weeks.
A couple weeks. You're new. You were just arrested.
Yeah.
I'm Ivan. What's your name?
Edward. You can call
Edward.
me Edward. Yes.
Edwin, nice to meet you. Why were you arrested?
I was arrested because my case is 9165, also known as drugs.
Drugs.
Yep.
So you are accused of having what? Shabu?
Yep.
Methamphetamines, yeah?
Yes.
What are you going to tell the court? Innocent or guilty?
Of course, innocent.
Innocent.
Yes.
Okay. You were arrested just a few weeks ago
Yes.
because of President Duterte and his war on drugs.
Yes.
What do you think? And people stacking up at such a rapid level over the course of the last 7 weeks. Let me ask, we're going to turn to Ewan here, who's been reporting, because Ewan went out with a police photographer. He's a photographer for a newspaper. Why don't you tell the audience about what you saw when you went out before dawn with this photographer?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. We were driving along and we came across this body. They get tips all the time. They get tips from the police. They get tips from Twitter, all over the place. And so we drove up and there was a buy bust. So, you know, the cops had gone to this guy. They'd done this kind of sting operation, and that's what happened. We found his body. There's a bunch of cameras, a bunch of media there shooting it. A bunch of the neighbors are standing around. It's and the photographer, this guy Rafi Lerma, who writes to the Philippine National Enquirer, he said this happens all the time. He says that some nights they can get calls for 10, 15 different incidents.
Has that photographer who covers the crime beat, has he ever seen this many killings?
Certainly not before this Duterte thing. He did the crime beat, I think, from about 2007 to about 2008 or 9, and he said in 1 year he would see fewer bodies than he's seeing now within this 1 month or 7 weeks since Duterte came to office.
That's an astounding observation from a crime photographer for one of the main newspapers here. It's Ewan McCurdy, a reporter for CNN and for our digital wing, saying that this photographer says he's seen more bodies, more murders and killings in 7 weeks than he'd seen on average in a year. it gives you a sense of why some people have told us. One man that I spoke with said he felt safer in a jail than he did out on the streets right now. We visited a woman who was grieving yesterday because her brother had been shot dead just a few days ago by police. The police report we saw said that the man who'd been killed was a suspected drug dealer who, according to the police report, had shot at police and they fired in self-defense and killed him. Well, the woman does not agree with that. She's terrified of the police. She didn't want her name identified or even her brother identified on CNN, and she thinks that it's the police that killed her brother because he was a methamphetamine user, she says, and she claims he was buying his drugs from corrupt police officers. But the sense of fear and the lack of confidence that this woman had in the authorities was truly astounding as she spoke to me right next to the coffin of her brother who had been shot dead just a few days beforehand. So again, we're coming to you live from the Quezon City Jail in Manila. This is perhaps one of the most overcrowded jails in the country, the Philippines, built to hold, according to Philippine standards, some 800 people, but currently housing more than 4,000 detainees, many of them waiting for their trial. On behalf of myself, Ewan McCurdy, and Scott Clotworthy, who's filming right now, we're going to sign off from the Quezon City Jail, and grateful for the opportunity we've had here to try to share this with the Philippines and the rest of the world. So thank you very much for tuning in. I'm signing out.